Hello, thanks Charlie. That was a nice introduction. Happy Wednesday, everybody. It's officially hump day, so nearly the weekend. Welcome to today's session. I'm Claire Bainan. I'm the Talent Acquisition Marketing Manager for Enterprise Rent-A-Car. And today I'm just going to talk you through a little bit about our company, our opportunities, and how you as Enactus members can certainly get a fast track interview opportunity. And looking back at our relationship with Enactus, we've had some amazing hires, one of which was Amy Berriton, who was at Enterprise Rent-A-Car and progressed into talent development role, working with me actually until a couple of years ago. But most recently, we've had some incredible hires from Enactus. We had like Trisha, who's from Nottingham Trent University. She joined me for a session actually today at lunchtime. And yeah, there's so many. Charlotte Till, who now works for us at the University of Liverpool. Like, there's so many amazing students that we've been able to hire. So really excited to engage with you today. So I am going to share a presentation. Feel free to ask any questions you have in the chat. No question is a silly question. Alternatively, you can connect with me through LinkedIn. Happy to connect with you. Yeah, lots of different ways that you can reach out today. So I just wanted to start by sharing just a little bit about our company, who we are, and our management training program. So we are a travel company, essentially. Our expertise is as an industry leader in mobility. That's transport solutions for businesses, and that's all the way from our Enterprise Rent-A-Car brand, where you might see those locations in the UK and our vans with the signage. It could be car by the hour through Car Club. It could be Flexi Rent, which is our commercial division. You name it, we deal with mobility in every way imaginable. And that includes owning some really big tech companies as we look at how we work with our customers to deliver options for the customer when they choose to travel. So that is a little bit about who we are and what we do. We are an American company. We're owned and actually privately owned by the Taylor family, which I think is incredible and gives us absolute strength in the industry. And we operate across the globe. So some statistics on this slide just to share with you in terms of annual revenue, how many employees we have in the business, how many vehicles we have on fleet. And if we were was a private company, we'd be, according to Forbes, the 12th largest company in the US. So huge global organization. When I left university, I actually did do a HR degree. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. Never dreamt of enterprise as a career. But looking at the growth of the company and the opportunities now, they're absolutely incredible. We'll share those in a short while. I thought it would be really important to touch on our values. And the reason I think we need to mention values is because this defines really who we are, what we do, how we work with one another, how we work with our customers. And when I applied for the opportunity at Enterprise, I didn't really know what to expect. And when I kind of looked at the values and learned about the values of the company, they really aligned to mine. And I think when we look at Enactus students and all the great work that you do to give back, they're certainly very aligned and very similar to what values probably you're aligned with, I guess, as part of Enactus today. So I'm not going to go through them all, but I do want to kind of highlight a few. One of which we work in our local communities, and this is incredibly important to us. And if you follow anyone on LinkedIn who works for Enterprise, you will see that they give enormous amount of time giving back. And we actually even pay our employees and encourage our employees to spend time in the local community to give back. And there's many different ways that we do that. So some of the projects that we currently run, we have Roots and Roots, which is a $30 million donation to nature conservation projects to support water resource management initiatives. We've pledged $50 million over the next 50 years to plant 50 million trees. And there's some pictures of our colleagues there. And I've personally been involved in those initiatives in the UK. We support Fair Share, and you'll see a lot of enterprise employees working to collect food donations certainly as we get closer to Christmas. We're out in force across the country. We partner with the National Literacy Trust, and that's through our Road Forward campaign, where we pledged $55 million to support social and race equality projects over the next 5 years. And that recently has involved many of our employees going to local schools, delivering books in parts of the UK that are maybe not quite as affluent, and certainly being able to give diverse role models in those stories to the children to be able to take home to read. Amazing statistic that actually 1 in 4 children don't have access to a book at home. So that just gives you a flavour of some of the work that we do and some of the initiatives that you'll be able to get involved with if you came to work for us. And this kind of summarises just a few, but we also encourage you to think of different ways that you can give back to your local community. At Enterprise, we have locations throughout the UK and Ireland, and we're very much centred in the community. We're not in just the airports or city locations, we're in the small towns too. And I think that's also the benefit of working for us, is that you don't have to relocate to London to have an opportunity at Enterprise. You can work wherever you want to be in the UK and support these projects. Okay, so let's actually talk about the opportunities at Enterprise. So the main opportunity I'm going to talk about today is our management training program. Now, we have lots of different opportunities in the company. If you look at our careers website, we've probably got close to 200 plus opportunities there today. But if we look at our graduate opportunities and our placement opportunities, they tend to be more focused on the management training program. Everyone at Enterprise starts the same way as a management trainee, including our CEO, and learns the business from the ground up. It's a very general, wide, broad program where you get to be involved in lots of different parts of the business, and on a training program that's very structured and designed to last around about 10 months. And from there, you then progress to your first management role. And we'll talk about that progression a little bit more in a second. Of course, if you've got questions, please ask. Our graduate program, we're recognised as a Times Top 100 graduate employer. And you can see some of the other accolades that we've won to recognise our graduate program. So before I go into what we're looking for and what the role involves, I guess I just wanted to give you a little bit of a concept of that entry-level role, the promote from within culture we have, and what that looks like as a business model. So we hire smart, talented, amazing employees. We are in a customer-facing environment, so they deliver excellent customer service to our many customers that come to our offices. What happens? Well, our customers recommend Enterprise to their friends and family. They might open a business account with us, and they come back. And what that means is that we are able to grow. Growth in our business means that we can offer more, we can open more locations, and we are opening lots of locations right now across the UK. And those locations and those opportunities will provide opportunities to be able to hire more people into the business and add more talent to the team. So that's our business model. As I said, it is a promote from within culture. So as we go through the career opportunities, There are lots of other opportunities in the business too, but we tend to look at our own employees who've started on that management training program in whatever role that may be. So this is purely just for the first sort of 10 to 12 months on the program. So what skills will you get when you join us? So whether you're looking for placement or on the management training program, that first 10 to 12 months will be identical. So we have Amy Berriton, I'm going to highlight as an example. She joined as an intern and did an industrial placement with us. And actually, she went back to university, graduated, and came straight back into the business after graduation as an assistant branch manager. So she'd already got her first management role after she graduated. It was really quick. But just to give you a flavour of some of the skills that you will develop whilst you're with us. Communication, absolutely critical, and is actually one of the competencies that we assess for. You will be liaising with our customers, whether that's a business account, whether that's a customer that's come in because they want to travel somewhere. And actually communication is also really important skill that you'll develop as you work in quite a small team at your branch. So it's important to be able to listen to our customers and be able to ensure that they leave really happy with the service. And communication is a lot about listening as well as talking. So that's certainly a skill that you develop. I've mentioned customer service already, but this is incredibly important to us. If we don't deliver fantastic customer service, our customers aren't going to come back to us. And actually our branches are measured on their customer service levels, and you are promoted as a result of great customer service. So it's really intertwined within our culture that we are a people-centric company. The third skill is time management. This is not, when we talk about our management training program, it isn't an office 9 till 5. It is busy. The branches are busy. You're very much on your feet. The days go super quick. You're not going to be watching the clock, but you learn and develop your time management skills, because you might be multitasking a lot throughout the day and figuring out how you get everything done before the day finishes. So that's certainly another skill that you develop. Now, Tricia spoke about this as an NTU, an Enactus alumni, earlier on a session I did with her today. And when she was talking about leadership, she was talking about how actually when she was 3 months into the company, somebody new started, and all of a sudden she was mentoring and developing that person. So your leadership, you step up very early on in your career. You're a leader from day one. You're given projects to run and manage that will genuinely help the business and move the business forward. So you're given a lot of responsibility from quite a young kind of part of your career. But I think by pushing you out of your comfort zone, actually, it really helps you develop. So leadership is certainly critical. Emotional intelligence. We've spoken about customer centric, but also just being able to engage with your team. As you start managing people quite early on, it's really kind of ensuring that you can connect with them as best as you can to get the best from them. Sales and marketing is also part of the role. As you're learning to run your own business, you're going to need to be able to generate revenue and sales. And so the role will involve you going out into the marketplace, account managing those customers that we have today, which could be a business, it could be a dealership, or it could be that you grow and secure new business. And Trish mentioned earlier that she's closed 2 new business accounts since she's been with us. As we talk about sales, there are additional products that we will sell to our customers, but it's all very much customer centric sales. So we're off just giving options to customers that will make their experience better. So please don't worry when we talk about sales and marketing. We're not expecting our candidates to have any sales and marketing experience directly, but actually when you think about your Enactus experience, you totally have all of these skills already, because no doubt you're going to have to pitch, you're going to have to sell, you're going to have to persuade someone to come around to your way of thinking. So, you know, we're not looking for that finished article. These skills will be developed through the program. And then we have problem solving. Yeah, you know, the day starts and it goes one way, and then it might change. You might get a curveball come your way, and it's just very fluid. So we're looking for people, and this is again a skill you would develop, that will be able to react and adapt, and be flexible. And there we go, adaptability. So that's, you know, so very broad and very diverse, and lots of great skills there that you'll develop on our program. So the good news is we are hiring, and I'm going to talk more specifically about the career path now. So on our management training program, you start, and doesn't matter what degree you study, we have amazing area managers with chemistry degrees, religious studies degrees, language degrees. So you don't have to have a business degree. So that's the first thing to kind of mention. So a degree from any discipline. One element of our criteria is you will be driving our company vehicles. You'll have a company vehicle, so to drive. So you do require a UK or Irish driving license, whichever country you're in. And that's just something to consider on our management training program, unless of course you aren't able to drive due to a disability, and of course we'll make those adjustments. So just wanted to kind of make that clear. And then as you start in the branch, you've got a great support network around you. They will develop and coach you. You'll have a training group you'll start with. So you'll be going to our head office for training, as well as some hybrid training in branch. And you're on this development program, as I said, that's designed to last 10 to 12 months. We've had superstars finish it in 6. Some employees finish it and take a little bit longer. But just to give you an idea, there's a lot of flexibility in that first sort of 10 to 12 months. Now, as I mentioned with Trisha, who was on a session with me earlier today, she only yesterday sat her management qualification interview, which was her opportunity to share everything she's learned about the business and how she's contributed to the bottom line, to customer service, to employee development. And she passed that, which is amazing. So automatically she's promoted to a management assistant. And that gives her the green light to then go on and apply for her first assistant manager role. And as an assistant manager, you are responsible for millions of pounds worth of assets at your branch, a team of people, and you are then commissioned off the profits that your branch generates. So it's quite a unique model where you're salaried, but also then you generate commission on how profitable your branch is. And then probably after being an assistant manager at maybe 2 locations, you would be then looking to get to a branch manager. And for me personally, I did that within 19 months of joining the company. So my progression was super quick. And that is the case for a lot of people, but some people do take a little bit longer. And as a branch manager, I had full responsibility of a business and a team and the bottom line. And yeah, and it was just, you know, it's just a credible opportunity. So then you have the option to move forward on this kind of, I guess, linear path, where the next move would be an area manager, where you would maybe manage 6 to 9 different branches. You have to remote manage, so you're then responsible for the performance of all your offices, and you work through your branch managers, and then you go through to all the way through to vice president, general manager. Now there are other opportunities in the business which I spoke about. So my career went from branch manager to talent development. I went into training and development, and then I was promoted to group HR manager in year 5. And I had no HR qualifications, but the company offered to put me through my CIPD, and I learned on the job, and I had a great support network to help me. Now, I actually then moved my career around again to, I went back into operations as an area manager, and now I'm in talent acquisition. So you can see how it's very much a lattice approach to your career sometimes, as opposed to just a ladder. And actually, you know, the world's your oyster in this company, whether it's roles in tech, whether it's roles in accounting and finance, HR, marketing, sales. You know, we have all of these positions, and there's so many that kind of go out every single day on our careers website. But a lot of these we might look at internally and look at our own employees. So, I mean, the world's your oyster, it really is. Now, if you are interested in our opportunities, I have put a QR code here. There are some different ways that you can register if you can't scan that or not able to, and I will show that QR code again in a short while, but we're going to give you today the opportunity to be able to scan that QR code and register for our fast track opportunities, and I'll explain what that is in a short while, and the QR code's there again. So in terms of our application process, typically it is an online application. So you would visit careers.enterprise.co.uk, have a look at our opportunities, see if anything interests you. Our management training program is very much by location. So wherever you want to be in the country, you'll see a location nearby. You will then be invited to an interview with one of our recruiters. And that's typically a 30 to 40 minutes, 45 minute maybe, Teams interview, just finding out a little bit about you, your experience, and just really assessing whether they think you're the right fit for the role. And then the last stage of the process is you go to one of our locations, you have an interview with the hiring manager, the area manager, and you also get to spend some time in one of our branches. So it's equally as important that you're assessing us through this stage of the process. Is this an environment you can see yourself working in? Is this something that you want to do day to day? And you get to ask lots of questions about the role and the development program, and see it for yourself essentially. So that's really that's why the branch visit is a really nice part of the process. So there's no psychometric testing, there's no assessment centres. It's a really simple process to be able to apply. So if you are interested in opportunities at Enterprise, as an Enactus member, we do fast track you straight in to an interview. So if you either scan the QR code, which I know has not been left on the screen for very long, but I understand this session is recorded and you'll be able to play it back. Alternatively, you can send an email to gethired@ehi.com. And if you explain that you are an Enactus member, so just say what team you're on in the country, we will then guarantee you an interview. And that's on the premise that you qualify from a driving license perspective, certainly for our management training program. So just a couple of ways. And we've hired some amazing Enactus students. You know, please, love you to feed this back to your teams, that you get a guaranteed interview if you're interested. I think we hired 14 Enactus students last year. Prior year it was 12. So yeah, it's really nice to be able to share our opportunities and see some amazing hires we've had in the company so far. So I just wanted to share a little bit around the work we do around diversity, equity and inclusion. And this is such an important part of our responsibility and roles at Enterprise. You know, we recognise no two people are the same. And honestly, we do so much to work as hard as we can to ensure that we are inclusive to everybody, that everybody gets a seat at our table, that everybody can go through a process that's equitable, that you get what you need to be your best during the process and also when you start working for us. So this slide just gives you some information around some of the awards that we've won. I mean, just this week, if you do connect with me on LinkedIn, you'll see that I was at the Automotive Woman of the Year Awards. We had 3 winners this week who were recognised in the automotive industry as women in leadership. a couple of weeks ago, maybe a bit longer, a few weeks ago, I was at Pride in Birmingham, because we support all the different Pride events around the UK. We do a lot around social mobility and ensuring that students get what they need to be successful and open those networks. We have been recognised for disability confidence status, so feel really good about our recruiters and our managers to be able to ensure that you get what you need to be successful, and we make the right adjustments for you if needed. So the list does go on, but we ensure that by being inclusive as an organization, we're only going to get the best talent, and we're going to get more diversity of thought, more diversity of leadership. So I'll share our socials later in the presentation. We've done some really great sessions for Black History Month this month. So you get to meet some of our amazing role models in the business. So yeah, it's just really, I probably spend majority of my role on DE&I projects than I do anything else. And that's the same probably for our leadership team. It's a big part of what we do. So here we have our socials. Really would love to have a follow on our Instagram. It does take a little while to type that handle in, but please do, because there's some great content and takeovers that we do have on our Instagram page. And then of course I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. And I would say also I would highlight our YouTube channel, some really great content, employability content. So whether you decide to proceed with an application at enterprise, or whether you decide, actually, it's not really for me, but I really could do with some top tips on an application or an interview. How do I be my best? We've got some great content on that YouTube channel, which I definitely would recommend you take a look at. And you get to meet some of our employees too. Just one other event I wanted to highlight, I guess. So some of the work we're doing right now is with Student Minds around mental well-being. And we have first in the series of events happening in November. It's the 8th of November. It's at 10 o'clock. And we're then going to be running events on dealing with exam stress, how best to transition into the world of work. And these sessions are being led by experts in the field. We have a doctor who's got 30 years of experience at Cambridge, who speaks a lot on this topic and hopefully gives some fantastic advice and support to students. So I just wanted to kind of highlight that QR code is for that event. If you don't capture it today and you follow us on our LinkedIn Enterprise LinkedIn account or any of our accounts, you'll see the opportunity to be able to register for that. So really excited for that, our first collaboration with Student Minds next month. So that summarizes a little insight into enterprise. I didn't want to necessarily talk for the full time because I did want to see if there was questions and try and make it a little bit more interactive. I may even try and share my LinkedIn link in the chat too, so you can connect with me that way. But I think for now I'm going to take my slides down and then we'll take a look at the chat, Charlie, and see what questions we've had come in. Have we had any questions come in? And you're on mute, Charlie. Sorry to tell you that.
You know what? That's the first time that's happened in 12 sessions.
Woo! I was able to tell you you're on mute.
What a treat.
I'm sorry. You just don't like it when it's, and you're still trying to take it off and someone's like telling you. It's very annoying, isn't it?
It's normally my catchphrase, you're on mute, but yeah, it happens to us sometimes. We just had the one question, I think you've already covered it, around visa sponsorship.
Yeah, so we offer sponsorship, so we're good. Yeah, so I've just put my LinkedIn connection in the chat. So 100% still apply. We will support sponsorship. So I guess just to consider I would say the driving license part is just sometimes that can be a hurdle. But we have had some great hires who have got their driving license in the UK and have been absolute superstars. So yeah, just something to consider. As I said, we do have other opportunities too. So we have some homework in customer service type roles, but if we're talking about graduate roles today, this is the management training one is the main graduate role. We do have, for those of you that are looking for placements, we do also have some placements will be posted on our website. I think they might already be there. In HR, we have placements in our airport team, revenue management. So we do have a kind of a handful of, I guess, non-management trainee placements in some of our support functions down at our European head office in Surrey.
We have a question around project management roles.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's something around that on the management training scheme.
Yeah, so there isn't a direct project management role, but on the management training program, that is a big part of your role, is to take a project, whether that's cost control, customer service, developing new employees, and you're given projects from very early on to be able to showcase when you do your management qualification interview. So yeah, nothing directly with project management. As I said, we do have some ad hoc roles sometimes on our website, but yeah, I mean, it's what we do all day, every day, actually, project management, but it's not necessarily a singular role. So hopefully that helps.
I've got a couple of direct messages from a couple of students. One of them saying the placement, how long is it for?
Oh, well, that's a good question. So we have a lot of our placements. So we have 400 industrial placements in the business today, and they're doing a industrial 12-month, we say 12-month placements, but you can start anytime between May to September. So really flexible. You don't all have to start at the same time. So you can start anywhere between May and September. And typically, we would like you to complete your management qualification interview before you go back to university. We may release some summer placements. They tend to get released nearer to December, January. So in some locations, we may be able to offer a 12-week placement opportunity. Typically, they might be at our airport locations. Some of those you might not need a driving license for, because if you're at the airport, you tend not to necessarily be out and about as much. But yes, so we're just kind of deciding how many of those we'll have as opportunities this year.
Got another question. Oh.
Can I talk? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I'm from University of Hertfordshire. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
amazing.
yeah. So the thing is, right now I'm studying BA Honors International Business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm currently studying. I just started with my second year. So next year, in the third year, yeah. So there is a study abroad year. So I'm planning to do 1 year abroad in Australia or somewhere in US, and then come back in the second semester and do that semester like do a placement or internship. So
Yeah.
basically an internship, yeah, for 6 months. So that's how my university accepts for like that, yeah. So what do you have to suggest for me? Is there any flexibility or anything else? And apart from this, and as you said that you guys provide sponsorship as well, and
We do.
so then nothing much, only this one thing, yeah. So what should I do, or when should I start applying? And any other roles you would ask me to apply for, or do you want me to go through the graduate scheme and do all that? Because my university wouldn't accept that thing. They would like ask for a 6 months internship certificate from you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, if it's a 6-month internship specifically, we would totally look at that, because that's still quite a good amount of time in the business to get some good experience. So we would be open-minded to looking at if you wanted to do a 6-month internship, speaking to the area manager of that location you're looking to work, and see if we can support that for you. I mean, amazing that you've got the opportunity to go overseas. I mean, that's incredible. But then if you can kind of fit in a 12-week summer placement, that's adds more value to your CV. In terms of 6 months, yeah, we'd have to take that case by case, because they do tend to be we want our placements to get the full experience of being able to complete their management qualification interview. So you may have to be that person, Srinivas, that just does it super quick and gets it complete before your 6 months finishes. So I'm not saying no, I'm just saying we'd have to look at that case by case. So if you want to connect with me at the time when you're ready to look at those opportunities, we can look at what we have and what we can offer.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Claire, I have a question. So for everything we need full driving license, is it?
Yes.
I've got provisional driving license, but then last time when I applied for the management trainee, they did insist me to have a full driving license. But I'm in the process, and because of the COVID, there's a lot of queue for practical test.
I know it's an absolute nightmare, and that there's been a big delay in being able to take your practical test. I mean, I'm going to admit this now, but it took me a few times to pass my driving test. I didn't pass first time or second time. But what we're trying to do is stay connected to those that are in that process, because we want to be able to, as soon as you do get that pass, we want to be able to, send a message that get hired inbox, let's get you in straight away for an interview. And I understand it's a big hurdle for a lot of students. Yeah. But it's just the nature of our role, as you are, driving company vehicles, you're very much out seeing our customers. It's very much not an office sort of job where you're stuck in, you're in one place. So stay connected, Vishal, and
Sure.
Connect me on LinkedIn, ping me a message as soon as you get that test booked, and then we'll see.
Definitely will do. Thank you so much.
Excellent.
I already, someone's asking, when's the deadline for applications?
Well, the great news is there isn't one. So we have evergreen opportunities, and that's purely because we are growing. We're opening 29 locations in the southeast. We're opening locations everywhere. So we're looking at some older sites. We're refurbing and reinstating those sites, upgrading them, and then some we're just opening in brand new areas, basically. So we don't have a cut-off, so we're really flexible. So if you get hired and say, well, actually I want like 90 days break before I start a career, we're totally flexible with start dates, which is really nice. Actually, you haven't got that pressure for a deadline, so all year round.
So I have a question.
I've got another question, which is about interviews. Given that the interviews are only short, how do you make a good impression?
Well, that's a great question. Well, I would certainly signpost you to our YouTube, because there's some great content. We did an employability series start of this year, and it was 16 separate topic sessions around how to stand out. I would say, certainly ensure, my biggest piece of advice, and bear in mind we get probably around about 25,000 applications a year. It was 40,000 applications, so I think we've seen definitely seen a dip during COVID, and I think many companies are the same. But tailor the application to the role. So don't do, and I did it, and I made the mistake when I was a student. I took my CV and I copied and pasted it into because I just didn't value, or make the time to adapt my application to the company. But for us, we're looking for anyone that values giving back to their local community, values, customer service, really look at our values and kind of mention those in your application. I think definitely would be a highlight. Now, obviously, if you are applying on the fast track program, then you will get a guaranteed interview anyway. So the way that process works is we will just book you in for an interview. We wouldn't actually ask you to complete an application. Probably should have mentioned this. But if you were successful, at that point, we would say, right, put your application in, and then we'll set you into the final stage of the interview process. So we kind of do it the other way around. But that means you don't have to spend time doing an application. We just see you direct. So actually, you get that kind of advantage on the fast track program.
got a question here, which is actually kind of an Enactus related question, so I might actually answer it, which says someone who's just joined Enactus and is looking for kind of, you know, all the benefits that Enactus brings and want to include them on their CV but have not yet started. If you have just joined Enactus, what I would suggest is connecting with your Enactus team at your university and engaging with them, because there will be projects that are ongoing, as I mentioned earlier on, for you, that are an opportunity for you to get involved with and really kind of like get out there and basically be part of running a social enterprise alongside your studies, which is incredibly impressive to employers to do that and have that hands-on experience. How much better is it when you're in an interview to talk about the experience you've had managing a team, solving challenges, impacting a community in a positive way, rather than standing up and saying, well, one time I presented my in my geography seminar at the front of the class. It's not even in the same league.
Totally. I mean, when we see an Enactus on an application, we know we've got a good candidate, a really good candidate here. So, you know, 100%. We support your teams in a couple of ways. So we'll have a business coach for your team, but we'll also have a VP mentor. So I would definitely reach out to your VPE, who certainly will be able to connect you with their connections in different sponsor companies, partner companies that Enactus have. But that, yeah, they will be able to link you. And I think there's some great content on your website of all the different partners and the programs that they run. So
yeah, exactly. Thank you, Claire. I think that's all the messages I was sent. I don't think I have any more messages that were sent. So at that point, I'm going to say thank you very much, Claire, for the session this afternoon. Always a pleasure, and thank you very much to the students who are here today, obviously kind of getting that early access to the session, and those of you who are going to be watching the recording as well. I know there are a lot of you. So thank you very much, and it's been a fantastic day. Lovely to be joined by you again, Claire. I will see you on the next one. Take care.
Yes, lovely seeing you all.
Safe evening. Good evening. Goodbye. Take care.
See you, everyone.
Bye.